Welcome to Point Blank, where we suss out the issues that matter to you and I. I'm Yvonne.
I'm Po Kwan, and the recent talk of the town would be the Wall Street crisis, right?
That's right, that's right. Well, the collapse of two titans, Lehman Brothers and Merrill Lynch, early this week has already sparked grave concerns in the public about our economic future.
But what makes Singaporeans feel the crunch even more is the credit downgrades of American International Group AIG, the parent company of AIA, which has written many policies here in Singapore.
That's
and
right.
In fact, across Asia Pacific.
That's right, that's right. It's a global impact. But whether you're an AIA policy holder or not, I'm sure you'd have some level of concerns about the financial security of this finance giant, if not the entire insurance business in general.
Yeah, so we are very happy to have two guests with us.
That's
Mr.
right.
Stanley Jeremiah, the former president of Singapore Insurance Institute and the global head of Converge's employee benefits, as well as Mr. Alfred Chia here, the chief executive of SingCapital.
Thank you so much for coming. So, do you hold AIA policies or have any investments in AIA yourself?
Not for myself.
Okay.
Not for me either.
So your family.
Safe ground now. Yeah. How about family and friends? I'm sure you've had some colleagues or associates who you've heard of.
Oh, certainly. I mean, AIA used to be one of the leading insurers in terms of volume of sales, so I think every other Singaporean would have a policy.
Okay.
So what have you heard from, friends' accounts of their fears or their initial reactions to the news that AIA may be affected?
I think people are naturally concerned because they have, it's a long-term savings for many people, so they're concerned about the future of their savings that they have with the company. But I think a lot of it is based on a lack of information and a right understanding of the circumstances and rumor, rather than on any informed knowledge.
Okay.
How about you? What was your initial reaction when you heard the news about AIG and subsequently, the fear surrounding AIA policyholders and investors?
Oh, the first response that comes to me is going to be messy.
Certainly
So
is.
you're right.
Certainly is.
Yeah. But of course, I mean, we are talking about AIG. I mean, it's a titan in the financial industry. So for them to get into these problems is definitely very worrying. Okay? But on the other hand, I do have some faith in the various central banks, okay, that they will look into all these situations. And true enough, many central banks has actually done their part to try out to show out the liquidity, given the lifeline to AIG.
That's right.
Okay.
But before we launch into a discussion proper, we'll have a quick recap, right? Well, it's the current AIG-AI situation that's been making our headlines these couple of days.
So we'll take a look at how the insurance giants came to be thrown into crisis that is currently in. So have a look.
Insurance is a part of most people's plan to ensure they have enough for a rainy day when they retire or when they fall ill. But that certainty was far from the minds of many of those in this queue outside insurance company AIA over the last 3 days. Anxious policyholders have been lining up outside AIA's Raffles Place building to find out about the status of their policies. Some even went to the extent of terminating their policies. This comes in the wake of a crisis its parent company, American International Group, or AIG, was facing much earlier. AIG nearly collapsed on Tuesday when it was given a credit downgrade. It invested in securities that were backed by subprime mortgages. So with the subprime mortgage crisis where defaults and foreclosures of loans increased, AIG's financial position also took a hit. In the past 9 months, AIG has reported net losses of over $18 billion and was hit by a series of credit rating downgrades. Poor investments and with AIG's shares plummeting, it prevented the firm from raising the massive amounts of cash it needed to survive. The Federal Reserve came to its rescue with an $85 billion loan, all in spite of AIA's assurance that their policies are safe, and even after the Monetary Authority of Singapore, or MAS, said that AIA Singapore's funds are segregated from AIG's. The MAS has since advised AIA customers in Singapore to avoid acting hastily by surrendering their policies prematurely.
There's certainly quite a bit of fear surrounding the situation, and people are queuing up. The snakes are, the snakes, the queues are sneaking
Outside the
around.
building.
Yeah, so much so that they're opening up a another level
second
of
level
customer
in
service
AI
center.
tower. Yeah.
So, do you think that the people's fears, those especially who are queuing up to terminate their policies, do you think their fears are unfounded? Yeah.
Well, the MAS has assured them that AIA currently has assets to back all its liabilities, and I think we should take that into account. I'm sure that MAS has done its checks. So, in the light of that, yes, I would say it's unfounded.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Something interesting is that it's mentioned in the video that AIG has lost $18 billion in the past 3 quarters. But what we know is that for the last year, it still has $1 trillion in assets, and it has a revenue of like $110 billion US. So why would the situation become so acute in just 3 quarters?
I think there was a lot of lack of confidence in I think some of the financial results that AIA was showing over the last few quarters. And I think there's a fear even in the financial markets that there was worse to come. I think that's the big trigger. What do you think of?
Well, I mean, like any financial institutions, especially in the developed countries, they have to make sure that they can fulfill the collaterals. I mean, they have to make sure they can fulfill the equities to back up whatever products they are selling or whatever financial obligations. So when the rating agencies rate them, they rate them on such basis. And when the share price dropped from probably around $60 US to as low as I believe yesterday closed around $2 US, we are talking about more than 90% drop. So it basically has wiped out a lot of their equity value.
All right.
Okay. So it's now a matter of cash flow, which is why Federal Reserve have to come in to throw them the lifeline, to give them $85 billion US, so that they can fulfill whatever financial obligations.
Okay.
In that case, there are some people who are saying that, some analysts who are saying that, this lifeline that the Fed is throwing AIG could actually potentially aggravate the situation. What do you think of, such an analysis?
I would generally disagree with that. I would think that throwing them the lifeline allows them to stay in business. They have a good business model that's been there for many, many years. Even if it needs to be restructured, it can be restructured. And no one has ever said that it's an unprofitable business. But it's a business that requires them not only to receive premiums, but also to make payments of claims, for example, which they have to fulfill in order to, keep their reputation and to fulfill their promises to their clients. So that's why they need that cash flow.
Okay, but what accounts for your your confidence in AIG's ability to to restructure and continue on with this lifeline?
Okay, they're a significant brand. They've had a big market share in many countries. They are, after all, the world's biggest insurer. So their current policyholder base, both in the life and non-life side, should enable them to restructure the business and run it more effectively. I think a lot of their problems actually have stemmed from investments more than from their business itself.
How about you, Alfred? Do you think that is the case for AIG? That case, that he's putting forward, that they, given the opportunity in this lifeline, they can actually, make a comeback?
Yes, I certainly agree. So, I mean, one of the biggest problems that AIG have is they were the biggest player in the subprimes CDO, because they were insuring a lot of such. So when the US household cannot make payment for their housing loans, they cannot receive whatever they have lent out. But other than that, they have a very good business model. Their insurance business are profitable. They have been delivering what they have promised in the sense of coverage, protections. So definitely, given time, they can then dispose of their assets, do for restructurings in an orderly manner, rather than in a fire sale.
Yeah. So our studio guests here are pretty optimistic about the financial future of AIG as well as its subsidiary AIA. But let's take a look at what people on the ground have said yesterday. Despite the hot weather and the assurance from MAS that AIA Singapore has sufficient capital to meet its obligations to all policyholders, the queue of concerned customers is still stretching on and on. The queue apparently started at 5:30 a.m. this morning. Some customers are determined to terminate their policies, while others are trying to redeem portions of cash they have vested in their insurance policies as a safeguard. Did you apply for leave, just to be in this line?
Yeah. 1 day leave.
You were here at 8:45.
8:45.
And the first person?
The first person I heard is 5:30.
Are you very concerned about the financial security of AIA?
Apparently I am, that's why I'm here. But I'm not here to terminate my policy. It's basically just to take out the cash portion of it. I guess I'm not really afraid that it actually files for Chapter 11. So it's more that I think that if there's cash in there, I'll take it out, and if I can put it to better use, probably I'll do that myself instead of letting them do it.
Are you here to give up your policies or to make inquiries only?
To find out to secure myself. From today's news release, I think it's quite safe. But I think I got 2 policies, but it looks like I'm going to terminate 1 life policy only.
If I don't surrender in the end of the day, or maybe later about 1 or 2 months, I get 0.
For some, they've gone down to the insurance office 2 days in a row, hoping to get more information and assurance from the company. 今日你有唔有入過去呢？
有喺樓上等咗好耐嘅，未講未揾，仲未整好啊！
你接住落嚟有啲咩打算呢？
等咯，琴日等咗嘢，今日再等咯。
我到明天5、6點我來了。
Although the U.S. federal government has announced a bailout of AIG, many remain skeptical about the financial future of AIA. Many express greater confidence in local banks instead.
If you were to show up another reserve, how are you going to show up within 24 hours? That's the thing. Everything has been put on verbally, but do you think you can secure the common folks?
I find that this type of thing is like to stabilize the publicity, right? So to play safe, I just take it out,
AIA policyholder?
No, I'm a company, a friend of mine. That's with Great Eastern. So it's still okay at Great Eastern. Not Singapore, I think quite safe. So Great Eastern is actually a local company, quite safe.
Are you concerned that once you terminate all these policies, you won't have any more insurance protection for the time being?
I think there will be other company as well beside AIA, or I can save it under the bank, so it's safer. Singapore bank is safer, right?
Apparently, AIA has actually put up full-page ad in many major papers in Singapore, in ST, as well as drop.Some. Assuring the investors and policyholders that they will fulfill their commitment that's promised to their holders, and to calm them down and to probably stop the inflow of worried customers at their doorstep. Okay, a full-page ad.
On our 2 major dailies. But I'm just wondering whether they have addressed the right audience, because it seems like a lot of uncles and aunties in the queues, they may not be readers of these papers, and they are the ones who are most concerned about the security of their policies.
And authorities also have noted that, ask the right people, the experts, the right questions. Don't, listen to coffee shop talk and all that, and get worried over nothing. But the truth of the matter is, one of the people on the streets in that queue asked a really good question. It seems he said that, is it possible to shore up to shore up cash in 24 hours, even if MAS is backing AIA up?
How would you react to that skepticism?
Well, the MAS is not backing AIA up in the sense that the Federal Reserve is backing AIG.
Not in that way.
Yeah, it's not in that way. All the MAS has done is vouch for the fact that AIA has assets in Singapore which are sufficient to back its liabilities in Singapore. And I think that's what it is. I think in terms of the US, they have given them a 80-odd billion lifeline. That's something that will help them to restructure their finances in a big way. It's not a small amount of money, it's a huge amount of money. And that is something that the company estimated it would need in order to do the restructuring it needs to do. So it's not like they're giving you money to survive today and what's going to happen tomorrow. It's a large amount of money to do a major restructuring of the company.
Okay. So would you think that by building out private companies like AIG on the part of the US federal government, would it open the floodgate to other companies who are facing similar liquidity pressures? Yeah.
I think that's a decision for the U.S. Federal Reserve to decide on, who they can help, how they can help, and what is the impact. I think, as we saw in one of the newspapers here, Federal Reserve saves AIG for the world. So, and that's true, because we don't realize the ramifications of an insurance company going down. There's so many people, not just individuals that are insured, but companies, businesses. You may have oil refineries, even lawyers and doctors having professional indemnity insurance. What happens to all of them if their insurer fails? Okay, there will be serious implications right across the economy. Doctors wouldn't be able to practice because they have no professional indemnity. Lawyers wouldn't be able to practice. It might be too dangerous to operate certain businesses. Hotels may have to stop taking in guests because they don't have cover. So it's much wider implication than just it's my
just
policy.
AIG.
Yes.
Or just even America.
Yes.
Yeah, the impact is certainly global. But but zoning in on the region, how do you think Asian financial markets will be impacted by this fallout?
Well, actually, I think Singapore has definitely done well. I mean, especially MAS or regulators. They have put in a lot of policies. I mean, there's a lot of check and control when it comes to insurance funds. And it's true that insurance companies have to maintain separate funds. That means there's a policyholders insurance funds and then shareholders funds. And they should not be mixed up together. And insurers are also required, especially in Singapore, to maintain what we call a capital adequacy ratio. Okay, and the minimum requirement is 120%. I know there are some insurers that maintain even more than 300%.
Okay, so this is enforced by the Insurance Act?
Yes.
Okay.
There's a minimum, and different insurers have different practices. Some are what we call more kiasu, which is good for the policyholders, where they give a higher, maintain a higher limits.
Okay.
So that in the event of claims, they are able to make good for it.
Which leads me to the question of some people's fears: will the parent company tap into the reserves into AIA
Asian operations to save their own problems? So is that a valid concern of most AIA policyholders?
Should they be worrying? Should I be worrying?
On that note, I don't think so, because the regulators here maintains very close supervisions on the various financial institutions. So there are laws that actually protects the policyholders. Okay. So on that aspect, I don't have concerns for that.
The policyholders' funds are segregated, so they are kept separately.
So Singaporeans shouldn't worry in that respect about AIG tapping in. Well, today, Razor TV went to the service centre again.
Yeah, the queues were shorter, but more people seem to have decided to take a KIV approach, or keep in view first.
Let's see how.
Yeah. But generally, their confidence in the entire insurance business has dropped. So let's take a look.
Queue number of 1111 to 1220. Please come here.
It's the third day since the Wall Street crisis has sent shockwaves across the globe, but the customer service centre of AIG subsidiary AIA is still packed with concerned policyholders. The outdoor queue has shortened considerably, though. People who are in the line are actually queuing up for tomorrow's appointment. Got your queue number yesterday?
Yes, yesterday I got a queue number. Yesterday night I wait for about 6 hours. Today wait about 4 hours.
Have you joined the queue recently?
No, I don't think so. They shouldn't be worried. Because I think recently the US actually bailed up AIG group with some, I think 50 billion or so. So, and MAS has tighter control over the capitalization of Singapore. So I think shouldn't be a problem.
Do you think it's a good move for the government, US government, to bail out companies like that, private companies?
For AIG, I think yes. The rest is none of my concern. But the domino effect, due to the domino effect, I think the rest will follow by the next constitution.
Do you think it's a good move from the US government?
I think they have to. They have to make the market move.
Don't you think that is going to create the illusion that is like providing a safety net for private companies who are facing similar liquidity problems?
It's hard to answer that question, but let's just hope it's not going to be another, depression. Kind of thing whereby, companies, people with low credits, poor credits, slowly start to take, debts kind of thing, and these banks repackage this as an investment tool
Has this incident actually affected your confidence level in insurance products?
Yes, of course.
I'm going to draw in the queue and take out whatever I have right now.
Definitely, it will affect the confidence of the people because I personally think that it's second biggest jolt after the 9/11.
To be very frank, AIA has not been doing well for the past few years. Even though the Singapore government is giving assurance for AIA, but 100% I'm very sure their future bonuses is going to be cut.
I'm looking at Prudential is a UK company. So I'm looking into the stability of the European market at the moment.
As agents, they want to earn your commission. They'll paint a very rosy and beautiful picture. So I think that for any policy holders, if you want to do anything, I think, no shortcut. You just have to, do your own homework also.
The credit saga has definitely hurt public confidence in insurance products, but the bright side of things is that people have realized the need to understand the products better and to monitor the market situations more closely instead of just relying on their agents.
Yeah, one of the key concerns seems to be, for now, the situation is okay. MAS saying, yeah, AIA is okay for now. But what about the future? What about, payouts in the future? Will I still get my payouts even in full or at all? What do you say to that?
Well, that's a very good concern. I mean, insurance companies will have to do their part in the sense of delivering what they have projected. For every life policy or endowment plans, there is this benefit illustrations. And like what I mentioned, over here in Singapore, MAS they are very forward-looking. So since July, they have actually make it mandatory for all insurance companies to also put in their audited returns of their insurance funds for the last 3 years. So that this will let policyholders make a very well-informed decisions based on their last 3 years performance. Have they been doing well? Have they been delivering the returns? And there are some insurer, I wouldn't say all, that have been doing very well, like delivering double-digit returns. But not all insurers have been able to do that, which is why, in other aspects, is the involvement or the emergence of financial advisors, which MAS has promoted since year 2002. I mean, where Stanley is also a veteran in that area where he has helped the industry grow. So a financial advisor will be able to help client to advise them, because the interest is that we represent customers. So we are able to help them to decipher, analyze all the different policies. What are their terms and conditions? Are they able to make the payouts, projected returns, track records, so that the policyholders can make a well-informed decision.
That's true. Well, we have to go for a break right now, but we'll be back with more questions for both our guests. So do stay with us.
And keep your comments coming in as well.